comfortable. It's Floating Yogi's Book Club. Book Club, yeah, yeah, yeah. I am live that time. Oh, this is just great. I can bring the thing up super close. We can be all intimate and one-on-one. Ooh, or one-on, dozens or whatever it may be. All right. Now that we got it rocking the way I want it to be, we're going to get the ball rolling. Peace and love, kings, queens, and gods. My name is Jarek Browner, and this pause, rewind, play. Peace and love, kings, queens, and gods. My name is Jarek. I'm the Floating Yogi, and this is Floating Yogi's Book Club. This is brought to you by UE, Urban Yogic Wellness and Education, restructuring health and wellness in the community, bringing the power of healing and evolution back to the community, back to the individual. We do that by bringing the knowledge, not just, let's do some poses, let's do some yoga, let's talk about it, or let's talk about meditation. Let's create an existential experience in which we can then transform and change ourselves. That's the whole Tantra talk, and that's what we're getting into today. So some of the other sponsors, Born to Fly Fitness, where fitness is fashion. Check it out. He has personal, he has one-on-one sessions, he has boot camp, he has one-on-one sessions, he has run clubs and stuff. Yo, we got to do it. We got to keep coming together. Also, just in case you didn't know, mental health is wealth. Boom. So do you care enough about your mental space to meditate today, or are you bullshitting on your greatness? That's the question I ask. What's your mindset? How are you gonna tackle life today? And I'd like to thank Mono's Detox. He got the serums, the elixirs, the smoothies, the sea moss. I'm telling you, you get the Juice Fast package. It's so many different offerings, so many different ways to to get your not just the mental, not just the physical in the form of working out, but what are we putting into our body, right? I'd also like to thank Surreal Audio Solutions, DJ Thrill, no commercials. And we out here. No commercials, not a single one except for all of these that I'm doing, right? However, paid commercials, we'll let them slide. You can check out the song on all streaming platforms. That could be your daily meditation to get your mind right, set your day up so you can move forward. When you do, then hop on my IG stories, meditate, vote, and share. And that'll give you an entry into the monthly giveaway. This month, what? We have Dolly, who just dropped off some goodies. We have a quartz necklace. What? Yeah. We have a tiger's eye bracelet. What else we got? We got a sage stick in this thing. We have, we got a bar quartz crystal too. So if you're trying to direct some stuff in a certain direction, you know what I mean? And if you're trying to amplify, because that's what quartz is for, we got that there for you. What else she got in here? She got an evil eye. Ain't nobody mad at some good luck. And Pablo Santos, she got a whole goodie bag in this thing. I'm trying to tell you, this is what we need right here. And if you just like me, she got a little pipe for you too. Come on, focus in camera. I see you not trying to work the way I want you to work. You better get it right. Watch, when I stand up, it's going to not work still. All right, I'm going to come to you. Boo. If y'all on, there we go, and we back. And she got a little pizzip in this joint if you a little smoker, right? And maybe you got some of the tea that you could throw in this pipe as well. A little Blue Dream, the chamomile, Tulsi, and Blue Lotus to give you some fantastic effects. However, these will be in the mail tomorrow, because today is the last day. So if you didn't, go on, meditate, vote, share, and get your entry in for the monthly giveaway. Boom. And did I forget to mention there's 2 bags? Yeah, she psyched it up. So I'm ready for that. Double up. Double up. That's 3, but you know where I'm going with it. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. We'll get into that. So, last week we were talking about Tantra. We were talking about the male and female reproduction. We were talking about why does Tantra start with the body. We were talking about Tantra says wisdom accepts and transforms, and ignorance rejects. Again, I strongly support those thoughts. And today we're going to tap into boom, 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 boom. love and attachment. I dropped a little bit of a gem last time of where we're going to pick up from, where we're going to pick up. I'm going to wet the whistle and get the ball rolling. What are your views on love? Have they transformed through this conversation? Please drop them in the comments or send me a DM after the jump. Email, you know how to reach me. Okay, question. Osho, you said that love can be free, but ordinarily we see that love becomes attachment. And instead of freeing us, it makes us more bound. So tell us something about attachment and freedom. Love becomes attachment because there's no love. It's that simple. You were just playing, deceiving yourself. The attachment is the reality. The love was just foreplay. So the attachment was actually the focus. We actually wanted the attachment and not love. Nah, but I want love. Moving forward. So whenever you fall in love, sooner or later, you will discover that you have become an instrument. And then the whole misery begins. What is this mechanism? Why does it happen? Excuse me. Just a few days ago, a man came to me and he was feeling very guilty. He said, I love a woman. I love her so very much. The day she died, I was weeping and crying, but suddenly I became aware of a certain freedom within me. As if some burden had left me. I felt a deep breath, as if I'd become free. That moment, he became aware of a second layer of his feeling. Outwardly, he was weeping and crying and saying, I cannot live without her. Now it will be impossible, or that life will be just like death. But deep down, he said, I became aware that I'm feeling very good, that now I am free. Not that he's excited about her death. Let's not confuse that. A third layer began to feel guilt. It said to him, what are you doing? And the dead body was lying there just before him. He said to me, and I began to feel a great deal of guilt. He said to me, help me. What has happened to my mind? Have I betrayed her so soon? Nothing has happened. No one has been betrayed. When love becomes attachment, it becomes a burden, a bondage. But why does love become an attachment? That's the question. Why does it become an attachment? Is it just an aspect of love? Or is it my traumas resurfacing from the subconscious? Dun dun dun. The first thing to be understood is that if love becomes an attachment, you were just in an illusion that it was love. You were just playing with yourself and thinking that it was love. Really, you were just in need of attachment. And if you go on still deeper, you will find that you are also in need of becoming a slave. Dun dun dun. It's a little offensive. I don't want to be a slave. There's a subtle fear of freedom, and everyone wants to be a slave. No, I strongly support those thoughts. I had a podcast interview like last week. In my opinion, they were talking about, are you really ready for what healing feels like? And I think that's a phenomenal question, because before you get started on a healing journey, there's going to be so many contradictions, so many switches in your belief system, so many changes that you need to implement. And if you're not ready to actually go through it, then the healing's going to be mute. It's only going to go but so far. And you really got to put you in it. We were talking about tapas before, one of the yamas and niyamas, that spiritual pressure, that spiritual intensity, pressure, fire, whatever you'd like to associate with it. We have to have that and bring it into our practice. We have to be able to bank on long-term gain for a little short-term pain. Let's see. There's a subtle fear of freedom, and everyone wants to be a slave. Oh, the other thing. Your whole life has been kind of, for the most part, mapped out. Oh, do this, do that, creating expectations subconsciously. And then we go through life and we realize, no, those were just imposed on us by other people. We have all these freedoms. We can really do whatever the hell we want to do. We can create whatever we want to create. So that in itself, not bullshitting on your greatness, that's where the hoodie comes from, right? Like, nah, do I really want this? Nah, don't bullshit on it. If you want it, do it. So, moving forward. Everyone, of course, talks about freedom, but no one has the courage to really be free. Because when you are free, you're alone. If you have the courage to be alone, then you can be free. But no one has no one is courageous enough to be alone. You need someone. Why do you need someone? Why are you afraid of your own loneliness? You become bored with yourself, and really, when you are lonely, nothing seems meaningful. When someone you are, when some, oh, I'm gonna say that again, yeah. And when you are lonely, nothing seems meaningful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. With someone, you are occupied and you create an artificial meaning around you. That happens a whole hell of a lot. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to jump into it now or if I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait a little bit. A lot of interactions with individuals when you have like a private life with them, and then you have life that you share in public. There is that that like private world, that private connection does create, you all create a meaning between you all. You enjoy the interactions, you enjoy what you're learning, what you're doing. It could be whatever, but we create a meaning and we create a reason to continue that. So that like starts a relationship. It can spitball and come from, and we can start relationships from solving our loneliness, or we can start relationships intentionally with some action, with some purpose in mind. I highly encourage that if that is the route you choose to take, whatever type of relationship it may be. Intentionality. Yeah, I feel like he's gonna go deeper because I ain't trying to say too much stuff, but we're gonna keep the ball rolling. All right. You cannot live for yourself, so you start to live for someone else. And the same is the case with someone else also. He or she cannot live alone, so he is in search to find someone. Two persons who are afraid of their own loneliness come together and they start a play of love. But deep down, they are searching for attachment, commitment, bondage. Facts. Just like what I was saying, the whole relationship thing. Oh no, we're cool, this is great. I mean, I'm not saying don't go with the flow. That's how Baby Jumi got here. Go with the flow. But be intentional with the flow. Don't say, oh, I just went with the flow and it was just out of my control. No, I chose every single action along the way. Take responsibility, because the only way we can move forward and grow is by taking responsibility, by accepting reality for what it is. Otherwise, we just gonna be fighting with every fucking thing. Who got time for that? I ain't got time for that. I ain't even got a rhyme for that. Hey, thanks for the hearts in the chat. Let's get it. Let's get it. Moving forward. Sooner or later, whatsoever you desire happens. This is one of the most unfortunate things in this world. Whatsoever you desire comes to happen. You will get it sooner or later, and the foreplay will disappear. When its function is done, it will disappear. When you have become a wife and a husband, a slave to each other, when the marriage has happened, when the love will disappear, because love was just an illusion in which two persons could become a slave to each other. Is that how y'all see relationships? Like a slave? I can see that. I could see that. But that's an imbalanced relationship. We talked about that. We'll get into that later too. More points to expand on. Any questions, comments, want to jump on? Feel free to hop on the live on the IG. Feel free to hop in the Zoom room. You could be part of the discussion. Go back and forth, chop it up. Websites in the links. Boom. Hey, appreciate the love. Appreciate the love. We gotta be out here sharing. That's what it is. It's important. This is the time, the age of knowledge, of knowing. So know better, do better. Don't sit in your mediocrity. Directly, you cannot ask for slavery. It's too humiliating. And directly, you cannot say to someone, become my slave. He will revolt. Nor can you say, I want to become a slave to you. So you say, I cannot live without you. But the meaning is there. It's the same. And when the real desire is fulfilled, love disappears. When you feel bondage, slavery, and you start struggling to become free. So I like this correlation because it takes the whole concept of what we talk about, like the job, and correlate that to how we see relationships, the similar type of slavery. How we can see there's so many types of enslavements. It's all in how you want to complain about it. I'm gonna say that. Remember this. It is one of the paradoxes of the mind. Whatsoever you get, you will get bored with, and whatsoever you do not get, you will long for. I strongly support those thoughts. Strongly support those thoughts. It's just the way the mind works. We love the opposites. We want to go from one to the next, one extreme to the other. I'm gonna keep going. When you are alone, you will long for some slavery, some bondage. When you are in bondage, you will begin to long for freedom. A lot of times you get in a relationship, like, oh my gosh, I want to be with someone. Then you get somebody to check off all your boxes, and you're like, no, I don't want to be there. Oh no, I want freedom. They don't let me do this. They don't let me do that. But that's not what you wanted. You wanted to be with the person, and life is about choices and trade-offs. That goes both ways, always, in whatever, triangle, trapezoid relationship it is. I'm just talking. And the getting bored with it, so real. How long do you play with, like, when you were a kid? How long did you play with your Christmas toys, your birthday toys? How long did they last? Hey, thanks for the love and a chizat. Not that long. And it's once we realize, oh, I got it, it's not going anywhere, and then the mind just moves forward. That's just a part of human nature. That's how we can progress. Now, do we have to be assholes about it? Should we be aware of how it works and then find ways to not be asshole about it? Yeah, I would encourage it, but we here where we at. We growing one step at a time. Let's see. Really, only slaves long for freedom. The free people long to be slaves. The mind goes on like a pendulum, moving from one extreme to the other. Love doesn't become attachment. I'm gonna say that again. Love doesn't become attachment. Attachment was the need. Initially, before it started, oh, I want to be attached. Oh, I'm gonna pull this plant in. Oh, I want to be attached. I want you to be close to me. I love my plant. I love my space. This is my mat. This is my everything. Just objectifying it, right? And creating ownership and separation, individuality. This is my space in a class, bruh. This is my pen. Well, I mean, if you bought the pen, you got it. But another person, moving forward. You were just in search of a fish named attachment. Ooh, I'm gonna rewind it. Love doesn't become attachment. Attachment was the need. Love was just the bait. You were in search of a fish named attachment. Love was just the bait to catch the fish. When the fish is caught, the bait is thrown. And we're back. Remember this, and whenever you're doing something, go deep within yourself to find out the basic cause. If there is real love, it'll never become attachment. What is the mechanism for love to become attachment? Before we go there, I'll say, when we're going through these pendulums, understand a logical decision and the feelings. Sometimes when he was talking back here, he was saying, when you're alone, you long for slavery, and when you're slave, you long for freedom. And it's the same concept. Hold on, where is it? I wrote it down on the side. When there's real love, it'll never become attachment. And when you're in this cycle of wanting to be alone and wanting to be free, when you're alone and you want to be enslaved, you want to be with someone, or when you're with someone and you start realizing where those freedoms start to taper off, where those boundaries start, then that fixate on the decision you made. Make a plan, stick to it, and not the short-term feeling. A lot of times we talk so much about, oh, if it don't feel good, then I need to be out. And a lot of times that not feeling good is really us dealing with those traumas and then throwing it on the other person, saying that, oh, they weren't ready or they didn't do this, when in actuality, we're triggered and not seeing how we're triggered. That's what other people are for, to see that reflection. That's why the practice in meditation, the asana, the meditation, the breath work are so good, because you can feel when your breath starts to change, because the breath is so connected to the mindset. Once the breath starts to change and you feel that there's a difference, no, I am agitated, I am irritated, I am a little ruffled, so maybe I shouldn't be as, let me do this or say this or respond. No, let me take this short-term pain and expand how I'm looking at this a little bit more long term. Could this pay out in the long term, or is it just like, nah, I'm done. You did this 3 times, and this is my limit. Poof, chop. So that's what I wanted to add with that. Before we move on, what is the mechanism for love to become attachment? So how does love become attachment if love and attachment aren't the same thing? And whenever love becomes attachment, it's no longer love. Question. The moment you say to your lover or beloved, only love me, you have started possessing. In the moment you possess someone, you have insulted them deeply, because you have made them into a thing. When I possess you, you are not a person then, but just one more item amongst my furniture, a thing. Ooh, I like the correlation to like furniture. I could see that. Just a possession, a thing. And then I use you, and you are my thing, my possession, so I won't allow anyone else to use you. It is a bargain in which I am possessed by you, and you make me a thing. It is the bargain that now no one else can use you. Both partners feel bound and enslaved. I make a slave of you, and then you return make a slave of me. Then the struggle starts. I want to be a free person. I still want you to be possessed by me. You want to retain your freedom and still possess me. This is the struggle. So there's that back and forth turmoil. If I possess you, I will be possessed by you. If I do not want to be possessed by you, I should not possess you. Simple things like that, right? Because then we're reflecting in our relationship what we want. So when we are with somebody and we're talking like, oh, yo, you ain't put the toilet seat down, or that's a horrible analogy, really. That's like one of the worst ones, but we're gonna use it today. And it's like, oh, he always said he said he was gonna work on putting the toilet seat down, but he do this all the time. It's been like 3 times a week, let's call it that, right? All right, okay, I got you. Long term, is a toilet seat worth the whole relationship? Is the person worth it to begin with? And sometimes that short-term thing, all right, a toilet seat is really not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. But if I want to make it a big deal, I can. The mind is the master of our reality. What do we want to fix on? Do we care about this person? Are we just there, or are they just there to solve our loneliness? Okay, possession should not come in between. We must remain individuals, and we must move as independent free consciousnesses. We can come together, we can merge into each other, but no one possesses. Then there is no bondage, and then there is no attachment. And that's kind of like those go with the flow relationships. Damn, it's really getting blurry on YouTube. Why are you doing that? Fair enough. You can come together and attachment. Is he gonna get into? All right. Attachment is one of the ugliest things, and when I say ugliest, I do not mean only religiously. I mean aesthetically also. When you are attached, you have lost your loneliness, your aloneness. You have lost everything just to feel good that someone else needs you, someone is with you, and you have lost everything. You have lost yourself. But the trick is that you try to be independent and you make the other person the possession, and the other is doing the same. So you do not possess if you do not possess if you do not want to be possessed. And that's facts. A lot of times people do have that distinction, and it's like, nah, let's be realistic with this. Hey, what's up, Justice? Good to see you, Catherine. My tea detox. We gotta have some magic going on in the future. We're gonna get the ball rolling. Jesus said somewhere, judge not, lest ye be judged. It's the same. Possess not, lest ye be possessed. Do not make someone a slave. Do not make anyone a slave. Otherwise, you will become a slave. And that's kind of like how a lot of people are viewing relationships today. That's what I'm seeing. Like, nah, I want you to do this for me or this. And then whenever they don't do those things, then it's like, oh, I'm done with you, or I don't like, it's like, so it's really transactional. Nah, sometimes People are people. We are not robots. We're not just going to be one way the entire time. Sometimes we're going to fall off, and it's going with them on that journey, seeing them in their highs, seeing them in their lows, and accepting it and transforming it. Being there, maybe they're crying, don't know what to do, and you just a shoulder to lean on, some a ear for them to get their thoughts out so they can see it a little bit better. It's so much more to it than just, oh, you're not doing what I want. Nah. Anyway, moving forward, we get into that a little bit later too, because that was the other thing I wanted to mention about the go with the flow. Yeah, because we definitely gonna get into that a little later, because the whole go with the flow concept, that's kind of like how G and I were, just flowing, just going with it, enjoying it, and making those conscious decisions. So then when we got here, we were like, hey, it's time to make a decision. I don't want you to be my slave. You enjoy being around me. You enjoy the things that you do. I enjoy the things that I do. They just so happen to mesh well. Does your crazy make my crazy go insane, or does your crazy mesh with my crazy? Where are we at? So-called masters are always slaves to their own slaves. Ooh, boom, boom, bah. We're going to do that again. So-called masters are always slaves to their own slaves. Think about like the celebrities and stuff now, right? You would essentially say that their slaves would be their followers in a sense. So yeah, they're a slave to them, because that's how they run their life, their business, and a lot of them, their family. So, well, I don't know about a lot of them. Some of them, I'll say that much, with social media and whatnot. And they're a slave to what they say, what they feel, what they want to do. They create based off of the people that are interacting with them. Like, come on now. So you can only be a master. Oh, you can only be a master when no one is a slave to you. So this seems paradoxical, because when I say you can only be a master when no one is a slave to you, will you say, then what is mastery? How am I a master when no one is a slave to me? But I say only then are you a master. Then no one is a slave to you, and no one will try to make a slave out of you. I think that's a very powerful distinction. Very powerful distinction. And sidebar, kind of like the Ashtanga practice. Not kind of, it is like the Ashtanga practice. Would I recommend you flow with me tomorrow? We're live at 6 p.m. here in Yogi. Wednesday, we have the Mysore style, which is a slightly different setting where you build your own practice one by one, pose by pose, unlocking the inner guru in you, as opposed to me teaching you something. You build your practice, and then we share our practices with each other. And then from that sharing, we create a discussion and growth. But that's tomorrow, that's Wednesday, that's Friday. Bring that ass, Suka Center. Yeah, no commercials. And to love freedom, to try to be free, means basically that you have come to a deep understanding of yourself. Now you know that you are enough unto yourself. You can share with someone, but you are not dependent. I can share myself with someone. I can share my love. I can share my happiness. I can share my bliss, my silence with someone. But that is a sharing, not a dependence. If no one is there, I will be just as happy, just as blissful. If someone is there, that is also good, and I can share. So it's not that dependence on that person. It's, oh, I need you around to be like this. I also, I don't know if I'm gonna touch on that. Yeah, we can keep moving. We gonna keep moving. We're not gonna. That's gonna be a little. That's stirring the pot. I don't be stirring the pot. But yeah, create that flow, and then you have a good correlation to look back on. Oh, is this like how it was when I? Yeah, okay, and it's not gonna be the same. Everyone has their own quirks and things, but you have a reference of how things should flow, right? When you realize your inner consciousness, your center, only then will love not become an attachment. You do not know your inner center, love will become an attachment. If you know your inner center, love will become devotion. But you must first be there to love, and you are not. Ooh. So love turning into devotion, when you're in your center, that's like you're not being pulled one way or the other, you're balanced. You're in that, we call it sattvic state, which is like a not fiery, not earthy state. You're balanced in between. And And there's different centers. We talked about these. We talked about the navel center, where you start where you're born, the heart, which we move up to, and then the brain, which a lot of people are stuck in, right? Peace. What's up, Lucy? Hey, dropping some love your way. Hey, my face still shining from the jump. Happy B-Day too. Nose shing, sparkling like a diamond. Anyway, so go check her out if you ain't get what I was going with, right? Go and check her out. She fire. After the podcast, after we get flowing here. And love becomes devotion instead of attachment. Attachment is like that need, and devotion would more so be the long-term observer. Oh, this person left the toilet seat up 4 times. They haven't done it in a week, but they did it sometimes a day. This is a sign that they're going through something and they're rattled, not to spaz off at them, right? So the other thing that happens in relationships a lot, we got to remember, we're talking to the little boy or the little girl in our partner. We're not talking to the full-grown man or woman who's accomplished all these things. No, we're talking to the child in them, the vulnerable aspect of them. So knowing that, act accordingly. Right? A lot of times we don't have the patience or the grace to extend to other people. Meditate in the morning. Get your mind right. Fucking get your mind right. Do your breath work. Do your practice so you can create that space so we can give that grace to other people and create a better world. Because if we all snapping on each other at the first sign of something going wrong, we ain't doing shit. We ain't going nowhere. Moving forward. Buddha was passing through a village. One young man came to him and said, "Teach me something. How can I serve others?" Buddha laughed after him and said, "First be. Forget others. First be yourself, and then everything else will follow." That's like saying get into that center. Figure out which center you're in and how to balance it out, how to come back down to the heart. So it's not based off of what's in your gut. It's not based off of what's in your head. It's based off of your action of love. It's based off of the response that you want to give to this world. Right now, you are not. When you say, when I love someone, it becomes attachment, you are saying that you are not. So whatsoever you do goes wrong because the doer is absent. Ooh, whatever you do goes wrong because the doer is absent. Again, that practice that I was talking about, that Mysore, that Ashtanga practice that I was talking about, that brings the doer present. Each breath is a movement. Each movement is a breath. You realize when your mind gets off track. You see it, you feel it, you can pull it back in, you can wrangle it in, and then it starts to become like a game. Oh, there's so much space between me and my mind. I know I'm not these thoughts. I know that's not me. I know I can feel this way, or these things can be happening or sifting around, but that is not me. There's space. Hey friend, look forward to your next podcast. Oh yeah, it's Eastern. Don't worry, it's gonna be up later. I'm gonna keep the playback. It's on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Tumblr, Facebook, all them things. I got you covered. Nice vibing with you, my detox lounge. Okay. The doer is absent. The inner point of awareness is not there. So whatsoever you do goes wrong. First, be. And then you can share your being. And then the sharing will be love. Before that, whatsoever you do will become an attachment. Because we're doing it and it's transactionary. It's like, oh, I'm giving all this out to see what I get back. Nothing? Oh, I feel really bad and depressed now. Now I'm a little bit jaded because I gave all of this out. And I don't want to give all that out again. Even if it's the right person. I mean, whatever the right person is. But if I give it out, I have to make sure they're the right person. For whatever it is, it could even be like a goodie or a giveaway, right? Like Dolly's giveaways that are happening. All y'all meditating, voting, and sharing and whatnot. Is that Payoga? What? Thanks, Catherine. See you. Okay. And lastly, if you are struggling against attachment, you have taken the wrong turn. You can struggle. So many monks, recluses, sannyasins are doing that. They feel that they are attached to their house, to their property, to their wives, to their children, and they feel caged, imprisoned. They escape. They leave their homes. They leave their wives. They leave their children, their possessions, and they become beggars and escape to a forest, to a loneliness. But go on and observe them. They will become attached to their new surroundings. This is facts. I was visiting a friend who was a recluse. It's a mindset. It's something to overcome. It's something to transform. That's what we're looking for. That existential, transcendental experience that gets us to see things a little bit differently, to change ourselves and not just philosophize something. Have the experience so we're actually learning, not just packing in information. All right. Because the consciousness learns in cycles. I'm going to drop that out there. And come to class tomorrow, we'll talk about it a little bit more. That's where the sun salutations come from. That's why we come back to Samastiti before we go to the next movements, because it's about, all right, and check in. What did that do to me? And check in mentally, physically, energetically. All right. I was visiting a friend who was a recluse living under a tree in a deep forest, but there was other aesthetics also. One day, it happened that I was staying with this recluse under his tree, and a new seeker came while my friend was absent. He had gone to the river to take a bath. Under his tree, the new Sayasin started meditating. The man came back from the river, and he pushed the new man away from the tree and said, "This is my tree. You go find another somewhere else. No one can sit under my tree." That's just how I heard it in my head, right? And this man had left his house, his wife, his children. Now he had become, now the tree had become a possession. You cannot meditate under his tree. Dang it, the kids doing music. All good, all good. All good, Pay Ogre. Glad to have you in here. Yo, what's up, Dale? Fuck yeah. Interesting. What we think attachment changes are all one, but we lose our atonement. Oh, I see what you're doing here. Alonement, and we lose our atonement. Okay. Yeah, attachments does. We create that attachment to solve the loneliness. Yep. And what you want, Mom? You ain't coming to class? I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna send this part to her. But we lose our atonement. Yes. Thanks for the gems. See you tomorrow, Dale. Maybe one of these morning my swords. Them Jones gonna get you right. I'm telling you. Whoa! You ain't gonna know till you do it, till the experience hits you, and then you like, damn. I've atoned. No, that didn't work out the way I saw it in my head. Anyway, moving forward. It's about the mindset. We have to change the mindset. You cannot escape so easily from attachment. It will take new forms, new shapes. You will be deceived, but this will be there. So do not fight with attachment. Just try to understand why it is there, and then know the deep cause, because you are not. This attachment is there. If we start going too deep into attachment, we start judging ourselves and judging what's going on, and the more that happens, it gets us deeper into a subconscious cycle. The mind's taken over at that point. So I highly encourage just accept. Just like it says, Tantra accepts and transforms. The second we accept it, we're able to transform it. The second we reject it, that's ignorance. You're not able to do anything with it because it's going to stay the same. You said, get away from me. I don't want to share anything with you. And the attachment is always there. Like, yo, I am realizing how much Jumi needs, how much awakeness and attention and alertness and consciousness she needs. And the attachment starts young. And it can spread to our relationships, of course. It can also spread to our possessions. It can spread to a thing that's not even real. This is my spot in the room. Really? That's what we're doing. Moving forward. Where we at? Oh, we're not doing bad. Inside of you, your own self is so much absent that you try to cling to anything in order to feel safe. You are not rooted. So you try to make anything your roots. When you are rooted in yourself, when you know who you are, what this being is, which is in you, and what this consciousness is that is in you, and then you will not cling to anyone. That doesn't mean that you will not love. Really, Only then can you love, because then sharing is possible, and with no conditions, with no expectations. That is what destroys a lot. The conditions and the expectations. You simply share because you have an abundance, because you have so much overflowing. Boom. This overflowing of yourself is love. That is love. That overflow, which you can share and give, that is like extra. You're like, oh, no, this doesn't actually cost me anything. I don't feel drained after. I don't feel tired after. That's love. And when this overflowing becomes a flood, when by your own overflowing, the whole universe is filled with your love, and your love touches the stars, and your love touches the earth, and it feels good, and the whole universe is bathed in it, then it becomes devotion. Devotion to a cause. And I'm a tap on that one. I was supposed to bring some other books because we're gonna read. We got 3 options we're gonna do the poll for this week. The Only Way Out, Flow, The Divine Matrix, and Eastern Body, Western Mind. I'll read excerpts of them next week, and we can figure out which direction we're going. Let me know which ones are really singing to you, really speaking to you, and we'll keep this book. It's got some secrets in it. We're not gonna not use this book. We won't fuck with it. We'll come back to it and take some excerpts that correlate to these other books. But the Eastern Body, Western Mind deals with chakras, energy, being able to overcome generational and past traumas and stuff. It shows us the cycles that we go through life. Flow talks about the flow state. There's 4 states of the mind, and Chitta is one, and I like to correlate it to that flow state. So we talk about flow in music and dance and rap, lyrics, whatever it is, painting. There's a flow of everything. And then there is the Divine Matrix, which speaks on the law of attraction, but also its predecessor, the law of vibration. If we're not vibrating to the right frequency, we're not going to attract what it is that we want. It's paused on my end, probably my Wi-Fi. Yeah, no. Well, the ending's gonna be up. Hopefully you can tap into Adele. I hit you after. What else was it? Yeah, I think that's it. Next week we're gonna get into those 3 books. We're gonna read excerpts from each so we can get a good idea of how, which one is which and which one we want to use moving forward. So we'll start the voting next week, not this week, because you got to know what the books are about. With that being said, I'd like to thank Yogi, Urban Yogic Wellness and Education, restructuring health and wellness in the community, bringing the power of healing and evolution back to the individual's hands. Boom, 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 boom. I'd like to thank Born to Fly Fitness, where fitness is fashion. I'd like to thank Monos Detox, the Serum Sea Moss smoothies, elixirs, Dolly Dear. She got the music rocking, she got the music rocking, the goodies, the giveaways, the bracelets, the sage sticks, the necklaces, the Pablo Santos. Like, come on, y'all. And no commercials. No commercials! We out here, y'all. Any questions, comments, anything that you want to share that was rocking with you, please send it in a DM, send a voice message, you can tag it on your stories, and then you can put it in your stories and tag me on it, and I'm going to get you with a response. Let's get it. And I'll let you know when the podcast is coming out. Are you really ready? Are you really ready for what healing feels like? Peace and love, kings, queens, and gods.